The topic for this session is it human assets or human resources? Building retention strategies in the new normal hospitality. This session is going to be moderated by Mr. Rupam Datta, GM Radisson. May I please request the moderator to join us on stage? Our speakers for this session are Mr. Kaustav Sen, Corporate HR Head, ITC Hotels, Mr. Tarun Giri, Managing Director and CEO, the Windflower Group of Hotels, Mr. Chander Balaji, Chairman, Royal Orchid Group of Hotels, Mr. Ma Foy K. Pandyarajan, Founder Ma Foy Group and ex-Minister Tamil Nadu. While I request the speakers and the moderators to join on stage, may I also request the moderator to please set the context for the session and take the session forward. With us on stage, Mr. Ma Foy K. Pandyarajan, Founder Ma Foy Group and ex-Minister Tamil Nadu.
Okay, party people in the house.
I'd now like to hand over the stage to the moderator. Can we get a copy?
Thank you. Good morning. Wonderful to see the hall is packed with professionals like you. I have some amazing panelists here. A very, very senior hotelier and colleague Kaustav, Tarun, and Mr. Pandyarajan. They're all amazing people. They're in full. Sir, are we all, said we have mics enough? This is probably one of the most interesting thing for many of you, how you value the HR functioning in today's date. So I will start with Mr. Balji, the chairman of Royal Orchid Group. Your journey has been amazing, sir.
Thank you.
COVID has given us an opportunity to relook at the HR and the way we approach employment. What is that advice or decision or direction that you have taken for your company post the COVID?
See, we hoteliers have always had old-time thinking that everybody work long hours, 6 days a week, and salaries are not that great. And they all feel that, it's a glamorous industry. But when people work, they don't find it that glamorous. So that is wearing off, and a lot of alternate employments are coming up. Today you see amazing. Any guy.
Are you able to hear Mr. Balji?
Hello.
Yeah, the voice has to be, the mic has
Can you hear me at the back?
Yes, now I think.
Okay. So a lot of alternate employments. Like anybody with a little bit of digital skills can start a social media company, and he's on his own. So he doesn't need any big organization. So there are a number of alternate employments which have cropped up in the last few years. So when pandemic happened, a lot of people left the job. There were, salary cuts, as well as there was, retrenchment, layoffs. And we were just thinking that, we were just complacent that, okay, when the things open up, people will rush back because they're all unemployed, they'll want to come back to work. So we were very complacent. We didn't realize that and I think 2 years was too long for people to survive with that 25% salary or whatever. They had to find something to do. And people did find things to do. So that there was exodus, of people from the thing. And then other thing you must see is that The new generation is very different from our old generation. And new generation thinks for today. They think I'll save, I'll do whatever it is there. And they think that, that Hindu philosophy of, that next karma and next life and all that. No, you only live once. That's what most youngsters, you can vouch for it, will think that.
They want something today.
Yeah, I want today, and whatever you earn, you try to now with COVID and so many people dying, they think that time is running out. Might as well, whatever they spend it and enjoy yourself. So a lot of people have started thinking that you only live once. And like work-life balance, I'll tell you what, my own case, my two sons have got out of hotel business. One has got in real estate. He said, Dad, this is not my business. 24 hours you're at it and all that. Forget it. He got into real estate, gone off. One guy has gone off to London. He's doing a restaurant, limited hours. They work 6 days a week. And so, thinkings have changed of younger generation because of the exposure.
Yes.
And the other day I was in Delhi, I was at Dilip Puri's institute, and because one of our guys joined that, you were very enthusiastic, must come. So I said, he's been calling me so much, I must go there. And I said, okay, Dilip, I want some of your students. He said, look here, I got 200 students, and they are not willing to join. Not one of them is willing to join hotel industry in operations. The people are ready to join in the supporting function, marketing, and this and nobody. Lot of people are into culinary. They want to become, they have their own bakeries, home bakeries, and stuff like that. So that was a shocker. And he said the salary, entry-level salary of these guys is 50,000 rupees. So which means, I said, 50,000 for entry level, I don't think we can. We never thought of. We thought minimum wages, people will come. So things have changed a lot, and how do you really do that? So what we have started doing is, we have got about 6,000 employees. All right? Attrition rates are 36%. So, which means we need 2,000 people to replace. And another 1,000 people are required for the new hotels which are coming up in the next 1 year. So 3,000 people are required. That is almost 50% of my present manpower. So we have our own school of hotel management, but we told them to convert it into a skills development center. So start developing people. But that we are doing it as a CSR also. Anybody who wants to join, in fact, any of the hoteliers want to have their people trained, we'll be happy to do it free of charge.
That's a good...
free of charge. Amlan Das Gupta is our principal. Stand up, Amlan. Show your
Amlan,
face
yes.
so people can recognize you and contact you. And he'll be happy to do it. And we do it online. So there's no problem. If somebody in Chennai wants courses to be done, we will do it free for you. Okay? So that is what we are trying to do today. That how do you try to... and of course, we have rationalized. Where in a flagship hotel we used to have 350 people, we're managing with 250 now. So things have become, we did a lot of during the pandemic, multi-skilling. Okay, still there's a hesitation of a receptionist picking up a broom and starting cleaning a mop and cleaning there is some hesitation. But things have changed during the pandemic for the better as far as multi-skilling is concerned.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Balji, thank you very much. He's left behind quite a few important things that today's generation is not looking at long. They're looking at what you get today and look at the demand. They don't want to come to operations. They want to get into sales and marketing, digital marketings and all where the core operations are not there. Moving to Kaustav, and I expect Kaustav to be bringing in his very energetic ITC's corporate head of HR. And Kaustav, your perspective on the whole thing. A lot of people would like to know from you. And I would also say that not just large-scale hotels, tell something for owners and managers who are also operating small-scale hotel, what they can do different.
Thank you, Rupam. We at ITC Hotels, I think we took the COVID as an opportunity to get our colleagues trained. I'm so proud to share that. We took this time to reach out to the colleagues, be in touch with them, and ensure that they are trained during the pandemic. I do believe that, in the changing times, we'll also have to change our game. Today morning, I was in ITC Windsor and my colleague Shweta is here. We talked about, we talk about guest recovery, but it's time to talk about staff recovery. It's time to talk about taking our staff. See, if you want your staff to work with you, like you treat your family, like you treat your wife, like you treat your son, like you treat your friends, you want to meet your friends over a drink, let's meet your colleague over a coffee. Because once you meet your colleague over a coffee, you will know what is going in his mind. He will work the extra hours because he will believe in you. So as a leader, my strong belief, and that is what we are trying in ITC hotels, that be in touch with the colleague, motivate the colleague, inspire him, train him, guide him, coach him, give him a career path. People want, but we can give, but we need to communicate. We need to put a structure. The biggest learning for me working in, before in Taj, then IIG for 12 years and now in ITC is people are an asset. I know we'll have finance people in the room who will have asset in a different way. For me, what is an asset? Asset is what supports your business. So if you go to a coffee shop, you cannot have a robot. You need a person with a smile to serve you. Similarly, if you go to a room, okay, the room has to be clean. You cannot have a robot cleaning the room, which means that you need to have a trained colleague who wakes up in the morning and comes to work. But to help him come to work in the morning and be trained, there's a whole lot of backlog in terms of work to do. What is that? When you interview people, do it well. Check the skills. When you do an onboarding, acclimatize the person with the brand. Make the person feel proud of the brand. When you wear a watch, you feel proud about it. Make the person have that watch, that brand of you in his heart. The person will do more. Train the person. Put a mentor with the person so he doesn't fall down. He may not know where the hotel specs are. Guide the person. You put a training plan for the person. That this is the timeline that I will help you to train you, guide you, support you. You may not know, but I'm putting faith in you. You put faith back in me. Simple. And that person will not leave you. Our turnover in ITC hotels is below 20%. We are trying to reach it even 15%. Okay? And that is because during the pandemic, we could give salaries. During the pandemic, we reached out, our leadership team reached out to the people on a regular basis. We took care of all the COVID testing. But most importantly, we were in touch with them. One more point I want to share. That, we talk about resource. The word resource is very important. We call human resources. So my point is that when you have to make steel, you need iron ore. We as hoteliers sometimes forget that to run a good hotel, you need a good room, a good sofa, a good table chair, a good cutlery, crockery, good napkin. But for me, it's all about people. If you have the person to give a good check-in, if you have the person who will take care of the service, you're doing your daughter's wedding in a hotel. What do you expect? Spot on things. But that is carried out by a person who is well trained. So train the person, show them a career path, give them a value, like we value people. The moment we value people, we will see them understanding the business, supporting the business, and staying with the business.
Kostav has made some amazing points. I think, please give him a round of applause. This is such a powerful points he's given. I'm sure a lot of you are taking note of it. What we mean is that just like how you make your budgets, financial expectations on your team, please make an expectation on behalf of your employees, what they are expecting from you. I think Kostav is trying to say that do you spend a lot of time with your employees, understanding them. Moving on to this whole thing, Mr. Balji has shared about how the Royal Orchid has done, and he's also introduced his colleague, what is running a skill development. I'm coming to Mr. Pandya-Rajan, and here probably, is there a possibility that we can engage different state governments when it comes to employment in different states? And since you have handled ministry in the past, so probably it will be also nice for us to note if there is a possibility, and I will go back to the audience if you have something from.
All right.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, first let me clear this identity crisis. I was a politician. I'm a business person.
Of course, a businessman
I'm an HR
too.
professional who's addressing them as the founder of two institutions, MOFA and CL. Wonderful. CL is a pre-IPO company, and which is getting listed in the stock exchanges. And MOFA is the one I founded about 30 years back. Okay. And yeah, I was a minister for education, culture. And when I was handling culture, I had tourism as a part of my portfolio. So, but I wanted to first talk about the so-called new normal. I like the way you've taken the topic with a question and with an answer. The question is it human resources or human assets? And the second answer that you've kept is the new normal and retention strategies for the new normal. So I really want to understand what is this new normal? Why is the 71-year-old institution, SIHRA as in Kesari, as I was told. You know, it means a delicious dish is what the minister told yesterday. So I don't know, first do you recognize that there are hardly 5 associations who have actually crossed 70 years and still have consistent democratic transition in this country. You must congratulate this. SIHRA needs a clap. Okay, often we don't even realize, you know, the kind of power with which you've created this body of the organization. And it's very important because, for instance, I always refer to what NASSCOM did for the IT industry. When the industry is about hardly 40-year-old, the IT industry in India. And within 10 years of the industry starting, they could get at 0 tax for the industry. And it meant a big boost to that industry. And even today, that industry generates 1/3 of the jobs that you guys are generating currently. The hotel, resorts, and restaurants put together, macro level, if you were to see, it generates 3 times the kind of jobs which are getting created in the IT industry. But within the 10th year, and you generate actually as much foreign exchange as it is generated by the IT industry.
Very well. Mr. Pandyajar, I'm coming back to the specific question that I had for you. That how do you want the state government and the tourism, the hoteliering to collaborate together and look at a better employment opportunity?
Okay, fine. Yeah. I just wanted to just mention a minute on this new normal because the government's role, when I come to it, I want you to understand it in the new context, the new normal as it is being said. Okay, what is the government interested in? Number one, the foreign travel, foreign tourist arrivals, for which one of the key elements is the hotel, restaurant, and resort industry, really speaking. And for them, when they look at this 1.13 crores of people who come in every year, contributing to a significant portion of the GDP of the country, maybe around 6-7% is what the contribution of the overall tourism and travel industry contribution is. When they constantly look at least in the last 8 years of this government, central government, and the many state governments, the attempt is to foster this industry. Okay, the industry recognition may have happened only in about 3-4 state governments. Some of the other governments have not been doing that. But of what value is that recognition? If today when you go to a banking system, what does that mean to you? Do you get a easier overdraft? Does an angel investor or does a private equity or a VC, and as you know, governments have started getting into these domains quite heavily, with a certain prioritizing, which some of the state governments are doing for your sector, but largely still the industry of travel and tourism hasn't been availing a lot of these institutional funding. Okay, the institutional funding, because largely when a promoter gets into this industry, it's largely his own money he puts in. And the organized nature of the large multinationals, the ITCs, the Oberois, the Tajes coming in, and the other players, the global large players coming in my view, has still been a lesser proportion. The large proportion in this industry is still the mid-sized sectors, the Kuberins and the people who are fairly in the mid-segment players, okay, which is very unique in this particular industry. And that sector, which of course needs a lot of government support, today it's happening in patches. In my view, when I was part of the GST Council, one of the largest representations was in the GST being placed at a lesser slot, which yesterday also the maximum remand to the minister used to be that particular thing. I personally think with a little more organized effort, and this is a political decision, and that political decision can happen like the way NASSCOM got it done for IT industry. SIHRA and the larger country cousin of yours, the other organization that you have, you need to really put a lot more strength in your kind of a claim to do even a lowest level GST kind of a category, which we can do. You've been trying to get it waived, but I think it may not be possible now. At least to take it to another lower slot, you need to have a lot more organized effort. But more importantly, I would talk about how do we leverage public funds from this industry, whether it's angel investment or whether it's private equity or venture capital, because the transformation of the last 3 years in this country, where almost 3 times the number of public funds available has increased. But if I ask myself, how much has this been taken by this industry, it is much, much lesser than most of the other comparable industries. That's a point I like to raise. But coming to retention per se of people, which is largely triggered by not many companies did what ITC did. Almost 70% of the industry let go of their people, because for them survival was the question. In fact, the highest number of people who lost their jobs during the pandemic, one of the highest was in this industry. So the question they have is downtime security. When there is a risk of that kind,
Do I have a future?
do I have a future kind of a question? And that's to me a very, very important component which I think needs to be addressed in this panel. You know, what do I do in order to restore the credibility and the flexibility in employment, which is becoming a very important element now? How do we build into this? Can gig workers come and be here? The staffing industry, which has grown almost twice in the last 3 years in this country. Can I really look at modes of employment which are very different, which gives me greater flexibility? Those would be the questions I think the industry needs to be looking at very carefully.
Very
And
true.
In my
Very
view, the retention is as important as the nature of work transitions which are happening and what kind of portfolio of employees you will need to really have. Like
Very true.
That's what I
think
would
Sir
like to
has placed a
present.
very good point. I move to my fourth panelist here, Mr. Giri. Mr. Giri, was there post the pandemic when everything was coming back to normal, was there a conversation that was made purely with the employees that let's look at them, what are they looking from us?
So, for us, fortunately, I honestly believe I'm in a reasonably enviable position because most of our associates really love who they work with. And I'm not saying me or the company, but generally their supervisors, their managers, and our relationship has been solid. So when the first lockdown was announced, we did tell them there would be pay cuts. But what we also said was we would reimburse it based on when we open up. So whatever pay cuts they took through the lockdown, we reimbursed it over the period of 3 to 6 months after we opened up. So they were completely paid for the time, and that was because of survival mechanism. We didn't have the money. We're a small company, I mean, a very small company compared to most people here, but we had to make sure that each of our employees are taken care of. This comes from the fact that close to 85% of our employees are local. So, for example, if you take Bandipur, of the 60 odd staff that we have, close to 61 are from nearby villages, you know. So there is no question of letting them go because where are they going to go? That comes to the first thing. And as a policy, we try to employ more than 85% within the local vicinity without importing manpower. So we were fortunate that way. And I was very fortunate because most of my top managerial staff voluntarily came up to me and took pay cuts through the lockdown. So we came out of the lockdown looking at the same people. It was like going back into a family living room. We had most of our associates back in place, except for the few who moved back to wherever they came from and did not want to come back because they found better jobs. I just wanted to raise one point when you were asking if the government should do something. All of us know that salaries have gone up, you know, they've gone up drastically. I only wish the government would move the ESI coverage barrier from, I think, the present 21,000 to a 30, 35,000, so that it's a matter of pride. It's not that a lot of our staff cannot afford their own insurance. Our employees can afford it. We also provide them some cover. But it is a matter of pride. They don't want to come and say, sir, I'd like an advance from you to take care of a health issue, because it is a sense of pride. So I think if SIHRA as an organization and FHRA as an organization can speak to the government, we provide large and, in all honesty, lower paying jobs, but we need the ESI coverage barrier to move to, say, over 30 or 35,000. So the sense of pride is there in the associates. You know, you don't want them to have to come and ask you, because there is a sense of self-dignity which all are this thing. One of the things that we've been telling our, because we have also rolled down the number of people that are working, we realized, like Balji sir was saying, a 350-room hotel, sorry, a 300-man hotel could run at 250. We have also done that, you know, where replacements are not necessary. We've reduced the number of manpower. So one of the things that we realized is a lot of them want to get upskilled. And I will take sir up on the job or thing of upskilling some of our staff. And we went through the pandemic well, you know. And
thank you.
One of the things that I should say is we did sell one of our properties to GRT, and Vikram sir and Natarajan sir are here. They did a fabulous job of absorbing the staff that we transitioned. Nice. They came about it, went about it very professionally, came, met each member, offered them everything, and went through it. So to a point where we did not even receive one call from a unit that we had sold just before the pandemic. So I think there are organizations that have dealt with this very well without having to see the pain. So.
Nice. So thank you very much. You made some good points. I'll go to Kaustav. Mr. Balji, I'll come with an important question, but then before that, I'm going to Kaustav. For Kaustav, HR, to me, in many organizations, is just taken as a, you know, who just looks after employment, filling up the statutories and all. So to just see that how we can look at a robust setup in far superior HR functioning in many hotels. I'm sure ITC does a fantastic job, many other companies, but then can we leave a note for all that what they can look at prioritizing HR as, just like how as the owner we look at finance person to be prominent with their organization, can we have the HR given the same value and conversation made constantly? Because of your view on that.
Awesome question. You know, it was firstly got personal department where people used to look at files.
Absolutely, many years back.
Then we went to human resources, and I think we are moving forward to the role of business partner or business support. You know, the whole HR journey is all about when a person's come to your office, okay, he can come and ask you for a payslip. He can come and tell you that I want to get a sick leave form. But can he come and ask you what happens to my career?
Amazing. Yep.
So the moment he talks about your career, that is your foot in the door to have a chat with him and tell him, buddy, this is what I have for you. You go to a doctor for a prescription for medicine, come to HR for prescription for a career. So that is my first point on HR. Now, I know, you know, pre-pandemic, different pandemic, people saw HR, people saw nurses putting their lives, HR teams working 24 hours to ensure people are, you know, taking care of during COVID. But post-COVID, the whole medical experience and the counseling part has taken a big role, and I would encourage most hotels to look into this part, because HR is no more a personal department. HR is a counselor, motivator, inspirer. HR has to do multiple things. And most importantly, which maybe, let's bring the elephant in the room, sometimes we have leaders, sometimes we have people who are very tough. Sometimes we have GMs who are tough. The colleague needs to get a chance to put his thoughts, because if you don't handle that, you will lose the colleague. So the HR has a role to play, to listen to a colleague, to understand, because there are times when a very small thing can make a colleague to decide to leave. So if you listen, so HR as a listener is the second more thing. The second thing is, a lot of times people have data, wrong data points, okay? Because as you know, in every hotel, there is discussions on points of what happens, you know, who is getting how much salary, blah, blah, blah. The point is, HR can play a big role to clarify and verify points, because that will make a person understand that he's on right track. So HR as a counselor, HR as a creator of value for the hotel, and sometimes a person might come to HR and say, I'm upset, I'm not happy. It is HR's job to say, you know what, you work for a company like this. Do you know what is the future prospects? Do you know from this hotel how many people have become GMs? Do you know your chance to become a leader? And we talked about opportunity. Opportunity is there, but we have to create it, make it happen. HR also has to have a role to create that pipeline so that tomorrow, even in operations, now operations people, yes, there are issues, but if we give them a fast growth track, fast training, and we also tell them, once you do 2 years in operations, we can do something else for you. That value creation will make a person stick to operations, stick to hotels, and most importantly, value HR as a solution provider to support the careers.
Fantastic. That's a lovely point. Costa deserves a round of applause. Mr. Balji, coming back to you, is it a good idea? Because many people have adapted that, okay, right now we have learned how to operate with a minimum number of employees. Is it a good idea to continue that or get back and make it more suitable for what the employees benefit for? Do they get any benefit? I understand that it makes a difference in the management, in the top lines and bottom lines. But what is that an employee get if he's been, if we look at that revised manning, what we are talking about, and where do we reach?
No, I think nature of the hotel guests have also changed. Those days, everybody expected his briefcase to be carried by the bell boy. Today, the guy said, no, don't touch my briefcase because of COVID. So, newspaper supplied in the rooms. In the restaurant, menus being served. So guests' expectations have also come down, so we can manage with less people. And I think if abroad, we all quote, abroad hotels are efficiently managed with lower people, I think we'll continue to do that. Okay. It's better to stretch them and work them on, then you'll be able to pay them more. So if you have more people and you have lesser people, so you have lesser people pay more to each person, then have more people and pay lesser. Because overall, your wage bill has to be a certain percentage of your turnover. But what are the things you can do, like other industries do? 5 days a week, you can't do. Okay, mostly. Maybe, 6 holidays instead of, some people have tried, have alternate weeks, sales people take off. So some of those things can be done. And also, what we can do is easily food festivals and, holidays amongst the group. Offer our employees holidays in the group. That's the easiest thing. Low-hanging fruit, give it to them. We have somehow resistance to do that. But I think Taj did it once. Every employee was entitled to X number of leaves. So that can be a big gem. It doesn't cost very much because he's going to go only in the low season. Then provide them better food in the cafeteria. Food in the cafeteria is usually very miserable, And I think I suggest owners and managers also should eat there sometimes. Sometimes I do call for the food from the canteen. And I think it leaves a lot to be desired. It's just a matter of little care. See, chef has to take care of that. As he's saying that, staff is to be taken care of, customers are to be taken care of. Customer dal will be made better than the dal made for the hotel guest. Cost is the same. So little care has to be taken. Then of course, sometimes emergencies come up. Somebody's mother is sick. What do? Your rules say that, look here, you can give a loan up to 2 months' salary. That's all. Now, at that time, what do you do? So what we did was we created a trust, which has got nothing to do with the company. So company rule doesn't get involved. And that trust has discretionary, something has to be given. Okay, we give it out of the trust. Okay, foundation, Balji Foundation, we've done that. Even we are giving them, our staff, school fee. Annual school fee for the lower level staff. Gets annual school. Once a year, they get 10, 20,000 rupees. They get school fee. So those are the things which we have to think a little beyond the rules as such. Right? Rules may, if you bend too much rules, then your business may go up. And of course, you are saying about local employees is very good, but CM said yesterday, today youngsters want to move. They don't want to be stuck in a village all their life. They want to see what's happening in the Bangalore pubs, the scene and all that. So I think, that we'll have to live with. People will definitely, Then the other thing you mentioned about ESI, I would not advocate increasing the ESI limit. What we do is, we got an insurance, group insurance for all other employees not covered by ESI. And that works much better because people who are in the ESI don't go to ESI hospitals. So I think it's best to have a cover. There's Star Health, there's so many health covers, and we get very good rates when we do a block for.
ESI has been a great savior during the pandemic. We realized.
I know, but you know, generally my experience has been all the years, somebody is sick, he doesn't want to go to ESI hospital. He'll go to a private hospital, he says the treatment is not good, whatever it is. Sorry to say that, but I think it's best to, non-ESI staff, it's best to give them insurance. And today you get very good deals from insurance company if you could do a bulk insurance. Now when we are getting 4,000 people insured, right, they bend over backwards to give
really
us a
nice.
good deal. So we get a good deal. So I think, and then there's, they keep on advertising now, Policy Bazaar, some 1 crore insurance, 400 rupees a month or so. So, I mean, why not, why can't we do that for our employees? You know, it's not a big deal, 400 rupees a month,
That's
or
an
maybe
interest.
half he contributes, half we contribute, go ahead. So, you know, they are ways of, you know, skinning the cat,
Covering
various
them.
ways of skinning the cat, and I think we got to start thinking a little different. Paternity leave. I mean, if he's got support at home, he doesn't want.
We have
Yeah.
to
Yes.
sort of
Yeah.
wrap up slowly. The
Yeah.
last question goes to you, Mr. Pandirajan, is that, again, coming back, how would, since you run a recruitment firm, give us some advice that these are the things that you adapt and see how you get results.
Okay.
Talent pool.
Yeah. I want to link it with another thought I wanted to plant with you, starting where you
I would
left.
request for a 5 minutes from you, if
Okay.
I have anyone who can talk a little bit about how we can collaborate with the government better.
Yeah. One scheme which I think Government of India really modified in the last 3-4 years, which this industry can benefit phenomenally, is the scheme called NAPS, National Apprenticeship Scheme, Promotion Scheme, which this industry hasn't adopted at all. Because somewhere our image is, apprentice means it's meant for engineering, manufacturing kind of a thing. It has been extended to all industries. So 10% of your workforce can actually be part of the apprenticeship scheme itself. It gives a certain flexibility, and actually government spends money. Till now that was not happening. It was an employer who was paying the whole thing. Now the government is paying it. There's a basic training provider who gives part of it. It in some sense is also meant to enhance the dignity of employment in some sense. You know, in our industry, as I say, the largest issue in my view is the way this young students hold the image of the skilled component of your jobs, whether it's cooking or serving, two key components if you were to really look at. The greatest challenge people who have taken on skill development in this industry is to actually get high-end people opting for the skill development. You know, people think, oh, this is cooking job, so I won't come, kind of a stances. Especially in the rural areas, it's still there. And I think as an industry, you can invest in that, one, by adopting concepts like national NAPS, two, actually by the skill development efforts which you are doing, you need to be able to raise the profile of these professions. You know, professions like chef, or professions like, you know, customer service, rather than the server identity that the person has, kind of a thing. In my view, skill development, NAPS, are both the things which I think the industry needs to adapt. And as you said, the recruitment as far as the managerial staff is concerned, which has been a big challenge in this industry, and especially after the corona time, the pandemic time, there is a scare that this industry is a little wobbly. In terms of their image, and that need to be corrected in my view.
Perfect.
And a lot more of flexible staffing needs to come into this industry in terms
Very
of
true.
your package. These are the three
on
things
the
I like
NAPS, Costa wanted to have few things you wanted to contribute.
Oh, that is such an awesome point. So we in ITC Hotels, we have taken NAPS very seriously. As I speak, I think in South Hotels, I think in Windsor and Welcome Hotel Bengaluru, I think, and between Gardenia, we'll have maybe 100 NAPS.
Oh, that's excellent.
In ITC, maybe we'll have 1,200 plus NAPS across hotels, because we strongly believe that it's a pipeline. And just to add to that, that the whole world pipeline, you know, is so critical. So for managers, we have a structure of HMI and we have a structure of future leaders. For our colleagues, for our supervisors, we have colleagues, we are promoting them. For our colleagues, we have team leaders, and, you know, people in housekeeping are becoming self-checkers. And the NAPS is coming in getting trained for 12 to 15 months, and taking the next level. So that is one bit. The second bit is there's a huge opportunity in the contractual segment. And the contractual segment after COVID is the new opportunity we have because it keeps your payroll costs flexible. Most importantly, it brings in value to your business because it is for those departments, housekeeping, engineering, where we can fit. So it is not guest-facing. But they bring the skill. So the skill tapping and the skill routing is what is important, and we need to keep focus on that.
Excellent. SIHRA has something on this line, anything collaborating with the government. Mr. Sundar, you want to have you. Please come on this stage.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
A little more sound, please.
Hello. Yeah. So, hello. Yeah. So the real crux of the problem is no youngsters is opting hospitality as a career. That's the real challenge. So what we are discussing about the existing manpower pool that we are, how to retain it.
That's right.
But what are we doing to, even you go to Air Force or Army, they have a system through NCC motivating people to opt as a career. So every other industry, be it textile, be it automobile, they're all, for so many decades, they have been doing a systematic career development program in the schools and the colleges. But in hospitality, our mindset is, when I build a hotel, that we think somebody will come to work for us. So which is not the case no more. And every hotel is in an acute manpower shortage. So the only solution is, there is a short term and long term. From SIHRA, when we approached this situation as guided by our president, that we analyzed there is a short-term and long-term solution. It is a very testing mode on a pilot project, that what we are trying to do now, so we are trying, the money is not a problem. As Mr. Mafa Pandiyarajan said, the government has got enough money for that, but our industry never used that. Our attitude is, when we don't have the occupancy, our occupancies are less, we take less rate, reduce the rate and take clients from other hotels. And when we don't have staffs, we pay more and take it from other hotels. This is the simple approach that we have all been doing.
That's true.
I'm sure that everybody will agree to this. So on how to retain that staff, this is what we have been doing. So now what we are doing now with the Tamil Nadu government, that we have already tied up, SIHRA has been a partner with the Tamil Nadu government, and we are going to the root level of rurals. So now, with all of us together, we can really make this project successful. There are a lot of veteran hoteliers in the industry who are passionate about teaching hospitality. So if those people wanted to become, SIHRA wanted to convert them as an entrepreneur, we wanted them to go to the root levels and motivate, for example, 30 students in their own routes. And of course, we all pay well now. It is no more 5,000, 10,000. We are also entry level. We are also paying 15,000 rupees now. And we can give SIHRA through SIHRA, or directly also anyone can get a job immediately. And we don't need, the hotels don't need any catering diploma or any other certificate. You just need a manpower. So we have to groom them in skilling in production as well as the housekeeping and the F&B service. This is the three areas that we are looking at. And the government has got a very lovely syllabus which is given by the government of India. The government, Tamil Nadu government is paying 36 rupees per hour to train a student from the rural. So the money is not a problem. Any of the hotelier who is retired or passionate about teaching, the only challenge is to get the students. Yes, IHMs are there. IHM or admissions are only 45%. Some hotels manages through the, as Mr. Balji said, some of them are managing through their own catering institutes. But the students are not coming to the catering institutes. That is the root level problem. So if somebody is willing to teach hospitality, SIHRA will support them, convert them as an entrepreneur, and we will set up everything along with the government, and he can produce 30 manpower immediately within 350 hours, which is 2 months. So one person develops 30 manpower from the rural area in his own level. And say, example, 100 people are doing this. You will get about 3,000 people. So this is how we have to do it. The long-term solution is we have to go to the schools. We have to go to the colleges. All of you have to take a little step in your area and then, motivate the students. What is the opportunity available in hospitality as a career opportunity? We do have a lot of opportunities available and instant employment. So when I floated this to the Tamil Nadu government, they were enthusiastic about it. The gentleman, the IAS said, no, you opened our eyes. Now the Tamil Nadu government will focus on developing the skills for hospitality industry. And we don't know there is so many jobs are vacant. So we all together, definitely we can do it. SIHRA has already done doing a pilot project one in Manaparai near Trichy and one near Kandarvakotai near Pudukkottai. So we are tying up the local hotel groups and they go as faculties and they train them, guest
Basic
lectures
level.
and all that, and they will absorb them immediately after the skill has been developed. So this is what I've been doing. Our president and secretary is fully in support of this, and SIHRA is continuing to do this if you all willing to support on this.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Mr. Sundar has left a beautiful message today that move in. I think this is something that we take. I wanted to thank all the panelists here and the beautiful audience. I hope you take back something important from this session, and thank you all once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. May I please request our President, sir, to please come forward and present a memento to all our panelists and the moderator. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, we'll also be conducting a lucky draw now. So for those of you that haven't given us your visiting cards for the fishbowl, please come forward and give it to us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be conducting a lucky draw now. We do have a fishbowl here that has all the visiting cards. In case you haven't dropped in your visiting card here, please do that. Thank you so much to our panelists and the moderator. May I request Mr. Michael Dominic to please join us on stage for the lucky draw. On stage, please. Can we have the fishbowl on stage, please? Ladies and gentlemen, we again have 2 lucky draw prizes after this session as well. And the first one is extremely special, which is sponsored by CGH Experience Hotels. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a 2 nights full boat stay at the Coconut Lagoon Kumarakom Resort, and I think that is an absolutely luxurious package, and that does deserve a big round of applause. So let's quickly find out who is going to be the winner of this prize. Can we have the fishbowl on stage? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to be picking out a winner of the Coconut Lagoon Kumarakom 2 nights full board stay. The rules are very simple. The card that has been called out needs to be in the hall, and once the card has been called out, the person needs to be in the hall and has to have a badge. And also, of course, there's only one winner for this day. Can we know the winner? Can we get a mic on the stage, please? Can we get a...
Yeah, the award, the winner is Rama Grand.
Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the 2 nights full boat stay at Coconut Lagoon Kumarakom Resort. May I request the dignitaries on the dais to please also pick out the next winner for Amazon Echo Show 5.
Krishna Kumar Bajpai.
Congratulations. For
Mr. Jain, Managing Director, Pride Hotels, would love to offer 2 nights complimentary stay for any of the Pride Group hotel. So he's on the stage.
I would like to give this prize to stay 2 nights, any of the Pride Group of hotel, whichever you choose, full on the board with family. Thank you.
Thank you. Delhi property is excellent. They can
Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a bigger round of applause. Everybody, come on, give it up.
VLN Prasad, Vishnu, Hotel Sri Kanya. VLN Prasad. Thank you very much.